Hello everyone and welcome to episode 2 of Art of Magic. Now in this episode we're going to be discussing what is that? We'll stick around and find. All right, welcome back to episode 2 of Art of Magic. In episode 1, we talked about my pet peeves. I had quite a number of responses to my pet peeves, and so a little later on in this episode, we're going to go back and revisit that. But just so for those of you who have not seen it, some of my pet peeves I discussed were the main one was licking your fingers to performing some card magic and basically giving me your DNA. So I don't want that. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. Well, anyway, in this episode, we're going to talk about something that is kind of controversial, well, a little bit of controversial, and this happens primarily in magic clubs. And that is what Eric Stevens has written in the comments of one of his pet peeves is actually promoting bad magic. And what I believe he means by that is when we are watching another magician and we sit there and clap, applaud, say great job, and really encourage that person who may not be a very good performer. And after giving it some thought, one of the main things or main reasons we do that, and I do that, we all do that, probably people have done it to me, and that is because we're generally nice people. We're not going to be mean. We're not going to say, that was terrible. That was the worst magic trick I've ever seen. Another thing to consider is what that person's main goal is. A lot of performers are hobbyists and enthusiasts. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being a hobbyist or enthusiast in the art of magic. But if your performance is not that great, should another magician tell you? Well, for me, the answer is yes, if they are a friend. However, it really kind of depends on the situation. If I don't know you very well, I'm not just going to come up and say, hey, I really appreciate you performing that routine or that effect for us, but you really need to work on this. You really need. These are unwanted, unrequested critiques that sometimes really are not necessary. What I mean by not necessary is this person may be the hobbyist enthusiast who only performs for his close family and friends and performs at the Magic Club meeting. And so that person's big, enjoyment out of performing that magic is actually at that situation. So in those cases, I think it's okay to provide that applause, that polite applause and encouragement for people who may not be as good as we would like for them to be, or as compared to other magicians. So there is a time and place to, I guess, basically kind of encourage bad magic. However, friends of mine, we often get to know each other by meeting more often. When I say friends, other friends that are magicians. And these are guys that I can count on to say, Jamie, that looks really good. However, I could see a flash of this. I saw a glimpse of that. Wouldn't it be a better idea if you did this? I have a close group of friends that I constantly bounce ideas off of. And this is a really good thing to grow in the art of magic. So if you are looking at growing, getting your routines better, do seek that input from people you trust, people you respect, people you admire, people that are actually out there doing the type of work on a day-to-day basis that you ultimately want to do. And that's only going to make you better. So I encourage you as individuals to ask for that feedback and ask for honest feedback. Say, hey, I really want your honest opinion. What did you think of this? How did you perceive that? And then from there, you can listen and hear what they have to say. Sometimes you may not agree with them. Sometimes they're going to give you some gems that you're just going to immediately put into your performances, and things are just going to be that much better. Also, don't be put off by magicians who may not be as experienced as you. Someone who is who you would consider to be a lesser performer, someone not as experienced. You may think that their input doesn't matter, but it does. The last Magic Club meeting I attended, I performed something that's fairly new to me. It's a principle, it's an old principle, but I put on a presentation piece that I came up with. And I thought it was a very good premise. And then one of the members came up to me afterwards and says, "Hey, I really like that idea, I like what you were doing. And I have a group of teachers that I'm going to be performing for, and I want to see if you could help me possibly do something for them." And just that thought alone, teachers, that would apply to the routine that I was presenting. So it gave me a whole new thought, a whole new twist, and something I'm running with. So you never know when you're going to be inspired or get some ideas from other performers. So do listen to other performers who may not be as experienced as you. So anyway, just kind of sum things up. I do believe there is a time and there is a place to promote bad magic. I believe that if you are a paid performer and you're not a good performer, the market's going to determine that you're not going to work as often. That all is going to be based upon whether you get a lot of repeat business, whether you get hired time and time again. For me, the biggest thing of a sign of a success is when a customer calls me back time and time again, and I'm working for the same customer year after year, and often I'm performing really the same magic. I'll vary a few things, but generally it's really the same type of magic I'm performing because they love it, and then that's to me the biggest compliment. So if you're a bad magician, you're not going to continue getting a lot of work, and word will spread and the market will kind of take care of that. So Eric Stevens, thanks for your input about your pet peeve of supporting bad magic. I do believe there's a time and place for it, but as peers, as friends, let's be honest with each other, and let's really let others know what you think and maybe how you can improve that routine. Often giving advice to others, it reinforces some things that we should be doing. Now I've got my laptop here in front of me. I'm going to go back and read some of the comments that I received from the episode number 1. The very first comment I got was from Eric Falconer, and he said his pet peeve is mostly among American magicians. Within the family, within the magic family, there seems to be a culture of non-sharing, unsupportive comments, exclusive attitudes, and general kind of a backstabbing type culture. Now, magic is all about secrets. So I can understand when some magicians are not willing to share their secrets. I, for one, have some routines that sometimes I don't want other magicians to see. But after a while, I realized it doesn't matter. My friends, my close friends that are magicians, I will share with them what I'm working on. I will share with others my actual routines, not for them to go out and copy because they can't be me. The biggest example I can think of is John Archer. He has that fantastic blank note. It is one of the most amazing, funniest things I've ever seen. I could buy the trick. I'm not John Archer, and neither are you. And that's what makes John Archer John Archer. So again, you shouldn't be afraid to share. So I agree with you, Eric. I got some comments about the technical part of the video. So I'm actually looking at improving some of the stuff, and maybe you may see some of those things incorporated into here. This came from Amazing Adam, who is in Miami. Scott Wells writes in, he doesn't like it when MCs say, "Put your hands together." Welcome, that kind of thing. So putting your hands together, I see that a lot in comedy clubs, and it becomes kind of a cool thing to do, and I think it's more of a niche. But I agree, putting your hands together, that's just basically one clap. But anyway, Scott Wells talks about that, and I appreciate your input. Let's see, Alan Arita, he says before, during, or after a public show of a regular, let's say at a regular gig, his pet peeve is a local magician that's present is thinking it's all right for them to perform magic and pass out business cards. That's going to be an upcoming episode, so do stick around for that. And that's how to act, how to basically etiquette for a magician who's visiting another performer. I'm not going to read all the comments here because there was quite a bit. Angela Murata, I know her personally. She says she doesn't like it when people say "as a woman." And Angela is a very young, very strong woman who's several generations younger than me. And I'm actually guilty of that. I have said to audience members, as a woman, if you'd like, you can change your mind, which indicates that women can be wishy-washy. And we need to be more aware of what we say and how we say it. Paul Carpenter writes, superb. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it. Let me skip through some of these. Descriptive text. Don Moravadis, I'm sorry, not pronouncing your name correctly, but Don says he doesn't like, I'm going to go ahead and. In fact, there's another magician who said this as well. Let me see if I can find it. But before we get to that, Greg Diamond says his pet peeve is magicians who make fun of volunteers, like pretending they have bad breath. Nice shirt, does it come in the men's if it's a man wearing a shirt? Those kind of things. Berating the audience members. I've used the word customer a lot because I think everyone's a customer to me. That's a whole nother discussion. But anyway, back to Greg Diamond's comment. That is true. That's a very good one for me, is belittling the audience members. Do me a favor, Daryl Howard writes, is definitely overused. He has another pet peeve of the word like this, like that. It's kind of the Valley Girl kind of thing, and I think there is maybe a culture area, part of the country that does that. Doc B says, thank you very much for the closed captioning. Actually, I don't think he really literally means the closed captioning. I mean, he's pointing out some of the text that I've popped up on the screen, so appreciate that. Jay Zugai, great friend of mine, he says that he doesn't like it when they allow their 3 or 4-year-olds to come up, pull on legs or grabbing props or just doing whatever they want to do. Jay, we're going to talk about that in an upcoming episode about performing the children's entertainer performing. This recently happened to me last week. I had basically the same thing. Unfortunately, it wasn't a 3-year-old. It was actually somebody even older. Let's see. Another comment from Craig Boudreau wrote in a couple of comments, and I believe this is one where he says, being a jerk to your audience member or helpers. And again, it goes back to what was said earlier. And here's his comment about descriptive pattern. Now I will do this. I will shuffle the cards. Just go ahead and do it. Totally agree with you, Craig. Let's see. Steve Haberman writes in, his pet peeve is exposure. He doesn't like it when magicians expose secrets of magic. And we're all about secrets. That again will be on an upcoming episode. So I appreciate all the comments. Here's what we're going to do. I am a reviewer for Mum Magazine, and I periodically get products to review. In fact, I have a handful of products here, and a lot of these are really, really good stuff, but some of this stuff is just not for me. So what do I do with this stuff? Sometimes I can resell it and buy more magic. Sometimes I can trade it with other magicians, but here's what I've decided to, since I'm doing the channel, I'm going to give this stuff to you. So here's what I want you to do. On this episode, I want you to write a comment. I want you to like and subscribe. So if you like, subscribe, and put in a comment, I'm going to put in your name for a drawing, and I'm going to give away some of these items. A 2-week timeline between episodes is kind of a long time with all the number of topics I have that I want to discuss. So I'm going to change that to 1 week. So we're going to do this on a weekly basis unless something personal gets in the way or my schedule gets too busy. But I'm going to shoot for putting out the episodes on a Monday. So look for these to come out probably Monday evening, Tuesday morning at the very latest. So that's what I want to do. That's all I have on episode number 2. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for subscribing. Do share it with your friends, all your magicians. Let them know what we're doing here. This is a community, so I want you to provide your input. This way we can talk about it on the next episode, which reminds me, I'll see you next time.